Okay. So in the last class, I had told you about the substitution cipher and that is, yeah, substitution cipher and transposition cipher. So is that clear? Okay. So one thing, let me just summarize whatever you have studied in the last class. So see, there are different types of services that any security solution has to provide. One is confidentiality, right? Authentication, then integrity, then what else? Non-repudiation. Okay, so these are the main services that any security solution has to provide, right? And one more thing is availability. So that's what I had forgotten, availability. So these are the five security services. So one is confidentiality, authentication, integrity, then non-repudiation and availability. So these are the five security services that are expected out of any security solution. Okay. So now, what are the various techniques that are used to achieve confidentiality? So that is encryption. Okay. Encryption is a technique that is used to achieve confidentiality. Okay. The simplest this one that we have seen is Caesar cipher. Okay. So Caesar cipher shifts all the letters in a piece of text by certain number of places. Okay, so you just see here. So this what is Caesar cipher. Okay, so K is the key. Okay, K is the key. So P is the plain text. Okay, P is the plain text. Okay, to the plain text you are adding key mod 26 because the number of alphabets that you have it is 26 only. Okay, so the total number of symbols is 26. That is why we are using mod 26. So any letter you take, for example, here the Caesar, Caesar is the key. Okay, the word Caesar with the shift P. So P is the key. So P means, so what is P? The the value of P. Okay, the alphabetical value of P. So I think it is 15. Okay, so your key is 15 here. So P plus 15 mod 26, something like this. Okay, so that is how the cipher text is. The cipher text. See, this P is nothing but it is a plain text here. Okay, not this P. Please remember. So P here it is a plain text. Okay, so but here you just consider it as just K it is. Okay, assume that it is K. Okay, so some key K. So now what happens, this Caesar it is a plain text. So when it is shifted by 15 places, so you will get RPTHPG. Okay, this is a ciphertext. Okay, how do you get it? It is by using, so whatever is the value of the plain text, alphabetical value, plus the key value mod 26. Okay, so that's how you generate ciphertext. And at the receiving end, so ciphertext is taken and you subtract the key from it. Subtract the key from it, mod 26. Again, you generate a plain text. Okay, so this is what is Caesar cipher, which is substitution cipher. So, and it is a monoalphabetic substitution because what happens, see now here A is occurring two times. Okay, A is occurring here and A is occurring here. So you see here A is always replaced by P. Okay, A is always replaced by P. Is it not? So that means, so this is not a good thing because the frequency of occurrence of letters, it is also even maintained even in the ciphertext, because here generally as we know there is a particular frequency in a given English paragraph, as you told in the last class. So E is the most frequently occurring letter, so that is followed by T and that is followed by A, like that, right? So this is known to our cryptanalyst. So what he can do, so whichever letter occurs more number of times in the in a given paragraph, so he can always replace it by E. Okay. So thereby, so he will be able to break this cipher. So the breaking this cipher is very easy because the plain text in the letter in the plain text, it is always replaced by the a particular letter in the ciphertext. Okay, so that frequency pattern which is there in the plain text, the same frequency pattern it is even maintained in the ciphertext also. Okay, so to overcome that, so what we have is, so we can just go for Wegener cipher. So Wegener cipher, as you know, here let me just tell you this. Wegener cipher, it is like this. Now suppose this is our plain text. Assume cryptography is our plain text. What we do, see here, so key is the key. Okay, in case of Wagnerian cipher, we use, instead of single letter in single key, we use a word as a key. Okay, a word is used as a key. So here, suppose we use the word key, K-E-Y, that itself is the key. Okay, that itself is the key, and we want to encrypt cryptography. Okay, so we repeat the key and line up the repeated key and the ciphertext. See here. Now cryptography we are encrypting. Cryptography we are encrypting. So what we have done? So key we have written it repeatedly. K-E-Y, 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 K-E-Y. It is repeatedly written. It is repeatedly written. Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? So this key is repeatedly written above our plain text. Is it clear? Any doubts? Now, how do we encrypt it? For encrypting C, we need to refer for encrypting C, the key is K. So what we have to do? See, this is our matrix that we need to follow, right? So you just see here, we want to encrypt C. So what we have to do is the key is K. That means here for different plain text, so there are different keys. Okay. So for C, the key is K. That means we have to follow the kth row here. Row kth row. Okay. So then we are encrypting C. So kth row, we are encrypting C. What is that letter? See here, it is M. Is it not? So see this. Okay. So it is intersection. So kth row, cth column. So this is M. So it is replaced by M. Right. So then we want to encrypt R. We want to encrypt R. Right. So then the key above it is E. That means eth row, rth column, eth row, eth row, rth column, rth column. What is that? It is V. It is V. At the intersection you get V. So it is replaced by V. Okay. So likewise, so we encrypt each and every text, each and every text. Now, one advantage here is, see P is occurring, but the key is K. Okay, so here it is, I can't explain you that because, so now different letters have got different keys. Okay, different letters have got different keys. So then what happens? So the same plain text is replaced by different letters in the ciphertext. Okay, that is why it is called as polyalphabetic cipher. So in case of Caesar cipher, what happens? Caesar cipher, it is called as monoalphabetic cipher because the same plain text is replaced by uh, okay, the same ciphertext, okay, wherever it occurs. Okay, but here it is not so because for different plain text letters there are different keys. So there are different keys. So hence, so same plain text may be replaced by different ciphertext letters in the ciphertext. Okay. So let's unlock the meeting. Is it clear? So this is called as polyalphabetic cipher. Okay. Why it is called as polyalphabetic cipher? Because the same plain text letter may be replaced by different ciphertext in the ciphertext. Okay. In the different cipher letters in the ciphertext. Okay. So any doubts? Any doubts? So this is all about substitution cipher. So transposition cipher is what? Changing the position. Okay, it is jumbling. Okay, so changing the position of the letter. Okay, so that is what is transposition. So that we have seen in the last class, right? So then next thing is, so we need to see about this data encryption standard. Okay, so as far as symmetric key encryptions are concerned, so there are two symmetric key encryptions that you will study. One is DES, that is data encryption standard. Another one is AES, advanced encryption standard. Okay, so this DES, as you know, so this is a basic process of enciphering. It what it does is it encrypts a 64-bit data block. It is a block cipher. Okay, it encrypts text should be given in the form of 64-bit block. Okay, are you getting me? Yes, are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. the plain text that is given as input to this, okay, it should be a 64-bit block, 64-bit block. Okay, now you just see here, so 64-bit plain text is given, it is 64-bit plain text is given as input. Okay, so then what happens? So there is some initial permutation. Initial permutation means what? These 64 bits, so they are, we just transform their positions. Okay, so these 64 bits, so they are, see, maybe the first bit is exchanged with 52nd bit, second bit may be exchanged with 64th bit, then third bit may be exchanged with 20th bit. Okay, like that. So the bits are exchanged, the bits are exchanged. Okay, so that is what is initial permutation, initial permutation. Okay, now one thing you remember, whatever the permutation that you do here, that inverse permutation you will be doing at the end. Suppose, please remember, if first bit is moved to 52nd bit, okay, then in the reverse bit what we will do, 52nd bit we will be moving to first bit again. Okay, that is inverse permutation. Okay, so after doing initial permutation, what we do, there are 16 iterations, there are 16 different iterations. Okay, so the process in each iteration it remains same, but only thing is the key is different. The key, the round, so the key for each round is different here, K1, K2, K3 up to K16, right? So what happens inside each iteration we will see later. Okay, now see here, so this is, now how the key is generated. See, externally the key that is taken is 56 bit. Okay, 56 bit input key is used, and it is subjected to again some permutation. So that means their positions are changed. Okay, so that is what, so first bit is moved to 40th bit. Okay, second bit may be moved to 50th bit, like that. Okay, so their positions are changed, that is what we call it as permuted choice. Okay, some permutation. Then what we do is, so we left circular shift, so it is a sort of left rotation. Okay, we rotate it by one place. Then, so the 56 bits are rotated to left by one place, and permuted choice 2. Permuted choice 2 in the sense, so the 56 that we, so again it is subjected to shifting. Okay, the bit positions are changed. Out of these 56 bits, so first 48 bits are taken as input key here. So the input key is 48 bits here. Okay, input key is K1, K2, K3. So they are of 48 bit key. The key, the number of bits in the key that is applied to each round, it is 48 bit key. Please remember, so 56 bit input key is taken, it is subjected to permutation. So then it is subjected to left rotation. So then again it is subjected to permutation. Permutation in the sense changing the bit positions. Okay, then out of that, first 48 bits are taken as this one. So then what happens after the left circular bit? Again it is left rotated here for the next round. Again it is subjected to permutation. So then second key is taken. First 48 bits are taken. Like this. So from the input 56 bit key, so 16 different 48B round keys are generated. These are called as round keys because this K1 is applied to round 1, K2 is applied to round 2, like that. K16 is applied to round 16. Okay, so from this 56 bit key, so 16 different round keys are generated and they are applied to each and every iteration. Okay, so 16 rounds of complex key. Okay, that's what is generated. Okay, now what happens inside each iteration we will see. Before that, is there any doubt in this? Is there any doubt in this? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is what this is. It is a key generation process. We need not worry about that. See, this is what happens inside each and every round. See, please remember here what happens for each iteration. You just see what is the input to each iteration. You just tell me. So it is 64-bit plain text is the 64-bit input. Okay, for each and every round you just see here. Okay, so what are the inputs? So one input is 64-bit. Okay, then another input is the key, 48-bit key. So please remember here. So this is our iteration I. Okay, so for the iteration I, so we get so I minus 1, so is the input. So 64-bit input. Okay, 60, 32, 32. So these 64 bits are separated into left 32 bits and right 32 bits. Please remember, right? So the 64-bit input for each iteration, right? So it is separated into left 32 bits and right 32 bits, right? So then these right 32 bits, what they are so here it is subjected to expansion and permutation. Expansion and permutation. You just see here, so it is a sort of trapezium. So here, why it is shown in the form of trapezium? Because here there are less number of inputs. Here there are more number of outputs. Because how many bit inputs are given here? What is the number of, how many bit input is given here for this block? It is 32-bit input. Okay, it is 32-bit input. So it is subjected to expansion. It is subjected to expansion. Expansion in the sense what? So 32 bits are expanded to 48 bits. 32 bits are expanded to 48 bits. So that is why the shape it looks like this. Less number of inputs, more number of outputs. Okay. So these 32-bit input, it is expanded to 48 bits. Before expansion, it is again subjected to permutation. It is subjected to permutation. So how it is expanded? Because some of the bits are repeatedly written. So that means 32 bits, how do you make it 48 bits? So that means out of 32 bits, 16 bits are repeatedly written. Okay, so that is how we make 32 bits into 48 bits. Is that clear? Okay. So then after that, once you make it 48 bits, right? So then the round key is applied to it. The round key is applied to it. 48-bit round key. So these two are XORed. Okay, so the 48-bit output of this block and the 48-bit key, so they are XORed. It is subjected to XOR operation. So then it is given to this substitution box. It is substitution box. So here it is reverse. So how it is reverse? So 48 bits are converted to 32 bits. 48 bits are converted to 32 bits. So how it is? So it is by using a substitution box. Now how actually it happens is, now you just see it is arranged in the form of a matrix. So this 48-bit, okay, I think he has given here. So please remember the input to this S box is 48 bits, output is 32 bit. If you remember that, I will show you. So but it is here not given here. Let me just see if I can find it. One second. Yes. See here. So okay, so that 48-bit after XOR operation, whatever the, please remember here. See in this what happens after XOR operation. See 48-bit input. Okay, 48-bit input is given to this S box. Okay, to generate 32-bit output. So how actually it happens? It is this. It is shown here after XOR operation. So the 48 bits. So, okay, the 48 bits are divided among 8 S boxes. See, there are 8 S boxes you see here. For each S box, so 6-bit input is given. 6-bit input to S box 1, 6-bit input to S box 2, 6-bit input to S box 3, like that. For 8 S boxes, so 6-bit input is given. Okay. So now here, so there are some values that are stored here. Okay. This S box, it contains some numbers. Okay. So those numbers, so that means how many numbers should be there here? Can you tell me how many entries should be there in S box when you have 6-bit input?
8 bits, sir.
Hmm? Sorry?
8 bits, sir.
No. This is 6-bit input is given to this S box. Okay.
Sir.
So then how many elements must be there in this S box? It is just like a memory.
Sir, 2 raised to 6.
2 raised to 6. Good. So 2 raised to 6 means again 64. 2 raised to 6 is 64, no? Correct. Okay. So 64
Yes, sir.
different numbers are there. So 2 raised to 6 different numbers are there here. Okay. But each element that is there in this S box, its value is always less than or equal to 15. Please remember that, right? So there are 64 elements in each S box, but the value of every element in S box is always less than 15, so that it can be represented using 4 bits. You see here, that's how. So it is 6-bit input, 4-bit output. Okay, what it does is these 6 bits, so they will select a particular element from this S box. Whichever element is selected, so that element, the value of that element is less than or equal to 15, so that it can be represented using 4 bits. So based on that, you get 4-bit output from each S box. So there are 8 S boxes. So 4-bit output from each S box, that's how you get 32-bit output. 32-bit output. Okay. So I think you followed it. Okay. So that's how. So this is what is S box, substitution box. Okay. So it is 48-bit input, you get 32-bit output. Okay, 32-bit output. So then it is again subjected to some permutation. Okay, subjected to some permutation. So then this 32-bit output of this permutation, it is XORed with the left 32 bits. Left 32 bits. Is it clear? So then whatever that results, so that is taken as right 32 bits for the next round. So then this Ri minus 1, it is taken as left 32 bits for the next round. So that is how. So Li minus 1 comma Ri minus 1, it is converted to Li Ri. So this is how these 64-bit input for a round. So this is how you just see here. So for every round, so 64-bit input, so it is converted to 64-bit output. So this is how it happens. Okay. So this 64-bit input, it is converted to 64-bit output for each and every round. For each and every round. Is it clear? Any doubts in this? Any doubts?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so that's how. So see here. Okay, so what happens inside each and every iteration you have seen. Okay, after 16 such iterations, again there is a 32-bit swap. 32-bit swap. That means left 32 bits are exchanged with right 32 bits. So then here it is inverse transform permutation. So whatever the transformation that you have done here, so it is inverse of that is applied. So output of that, so that is your 64-bit ciphertext. Okay, so that's how 64-bit plain text is converted to 64-bit ciphertext. Yes, any doubts? Any doubts are there, you can ask. Any doubts? Okay, if there are no doubts, we will proceed. Yes? Just tell me, any doubts?
No,
Ankit?
sir, no doubts.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So we'll proceed then, right? We'll see, go to the next block cipher, that is advanced encryption standard. Okay. So advanced encryption standard, as you see here. Okay. So this DES, the disadvantage of data encryption standard is, so what is the key size for DES? It is 56-bit. Okay, 56-bit input key. So that key size is very, very small. Okay, whenever the key size is small, so it is very easy to break it. Very easy to break it. Okay, so that is why. So the advanced version of it is taken. That is advanced encryption standard. Okay, so here what happens? It is also a symmetric key block cipher. Okay, it uses. See here, it uses different types of keys. So 128-bit key, 192-bit key, 256-bit key. Okay. So So as the key size increases, okay, see 128-bit key, 192-bit key, 256-bit key. Okay, so this is the about the key size. What is the how many bits of input is given to DES? It is 64-bit, but for AES it is 128-bit input. Okay, so data that is given to the AES is 128-bit. Okay, it is also block cipher. A block of 128-bit data is given as input and it is converted to 128-bit cipher text. So it is stronger than DES and triple DES, right? Okay, so its operation, as you see, AES it is iterative again, just as you see in case of DES, it is iterative, and it is again there is a sequence of substitution and permutation. Okay, as you have seen in case of DES. Okay, so there is permutation and there is substitution. Yes or no? So permutation means changing the positions. Then substitution is how it is achieved by using S boxes. Okay, the same thing is applicable here. Okay, now you just see. Okay, the same thing 128-bit plain text, 128-bit plain text is taken. Okay. Now one difference here is, now you just see the number of rounds, whereas in case of DES it is 16 rounds, it is fixed. Whereas in this case, the number of rounds, it depends on the size of the key that we are using. If you are using 128-bit key, so then there are 10 rounds. Then there are 10 rounds. If you are using 192-bit key, so then there are 12 rounds. If you are using 256-bit key, then there are 14 rounds. Okay, so the number of rounds, it depends on the key size that we are using. Okay, so that is the relationship between the number of rounds and the key size. Okay, right. So this is what is our initial transformation, initial permutation, whatever we call. Okay, these 128 bits, so they maybe they are swapped into 64-bit, 64-bit. Okay, so then, okay, so using some key it is done. Now again, for every round there is key, so the number of rounds here it is not fixed, it keeps on varying based on the size of the key. Okay, so round 1, round 2, round 3, for each and every round, so there are different keys. So this is a key generation process. This is key generation process. Okay, so 128-bit key, so 128-bit keys are applied here. Okay, now what happens inside each and every round? So it is given here. Okay, how encryption takes place. Okay, now as you see here, so round key, K naught is applied. See, 128-bit key is applied, so round key is it is generated. Okay, so now this plain text is taken. For the plain text, we add round key. We add round key. So then what happens inside each and every box? You just see here. Now sub bytes. Okay, it is nothing but it is a sort of substitution. It is substitution. Okay, so these 128 bit. See, these 128 bits are arranged in the form of a matrix. Okay. Okay. How many elements? So 128 bits are arranged in the form of 16 input bytes. Okay. Please remember. So these 128-bit plain text, it is arranged in the form of 16 input bytes. 16 bytes. Okay. So into the S box. To the S box. Okay. So the result is it is a matrix of 4 by 4, 4 by 4 matrix. Okay. Are you getting me? Yes or no? Yes. So the 128-bit input, it is arranged in the form of a matrix of 16 elements, of 16 bytes, 16 bytes. So 16 into 8 is 128. Okay. So now what we do is after that shift rows. So that's second step. So what we do here, so this matrix, whatever the matrix that we have here, 4 by 4 matrix. So here the first row is not shifted. Okay, first row is not shifted. So second row is shifted by one position to the left. Third row is shifted by two positions in the left. So fourth row is shifted by three positions. So it is rotation actually. Okay. So this 4 by 4 matrix, it is The first row is not shifted, second row is shifted by 1 byte, 1 position, rotation. So second row is shifted by 2 rotations, third row is shifted by 3 rotations. Okay, so the result is that a new matrix consisting of the same 16 bytes shifted, okay, with respect to each other. Okay, so what we get? So it is this one. Okay, so then what we do? We mix the columns. We mix the columns. So what we do? So each column of 4 bytes, okay, the columns, please remember, it is a 4 by 4 matrix, right? Now the columns are now transformed using special mathematical function. Okay, so their columns are interchanged. So this function takes as input the 4 bytes of one column and outputs the 4 bytes completely. Okay, these columns, so first column is moved to maybe third column, is moved to third column. So third column is moved to second column is moved to fourth column, like that. So based on some mathematical function, okay, so these columns are shifted. These columns are shifted. Is it clear? So that's what is mixed column. Okay, then add round key here. So for this 128-bit output, so it is round key is added. So then we generate 128-bit output. Okay, so that's what happens inside each and every round. Is it clear? Any doubts? How the plain text is
Sir,
processed? Yes, tell me.
no doubt.
No doubts. See, the number of rounds in case of AES, it is not fixed. It is based on the key size. So that is one important thing, and it is much stronger. So the what it does is it is also a block cipher that encrypts 128-bit input plain text block, right? And the key is of size 128-bit or 192-bit or 256 bits, right? So if you are using 128-bit, there are 10 rounds or 12 rounds or 14 rounds. Okay, so what happens inside each and every round? So it is explained here. Okay, is it clear? Yes. So the decryption process, one thing you remember, decryption process is always inverse of encryption. Okay. See now, so if this is encryption, then what you do is in the reverse way you go. Okay. So round, whatever the last round is there, that becomes the first round in case of decryption. So then like that, okay, it proceeds. So from the cipher text, you ultimately generate the plain text. Okay, it is actually inverse. So decryption is always inverse of encryption. Okay, so this is about AES, encryption, advanced encryption standard. Yes, any doubts? Any doubts either in DES or AES? See, one thing is to this DES, the key size is small, 56-bit key. Okay, to strengthen this DES, what is done is, so it is uh, people started using this triple DES. Okay, as you see here, so this is one DES, this is another DES, this is third DES. Okay, so plain text is applied here. Okay, so we use some key K1. Okay, using DES. So the output of that is subjected to another DES with a different key. So again, the output of that is subjected to another DES with the same key K1 K1. Okay. So whatever that you generate, that is a ciphertext. So this is what is triple DES. Instead of using a single DES to strengthen the DES, so it is subjected to triple DES. Okay. So this decryption is just exactly reverse of it. Okay. Decryption using K1. So output of that is given to this. Again, it is K2. Output of that is given to decryption K1. Is it clear? So this is triple DES. To strengthen DES, the DES, it is again used twice. So the encrypted text, again it is encrypted. Okay, is that clear? Yes. Yes, tell me. Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir. It's clear, sir.
Okay, fine. So then we move on to the next one, that is RSA algorithm. RSA, see RSA algorithm, what happens here? See, the RSA algorithm, it is generally called as a public key algorithm. Okay. Now, one thing you remember, see, in case of why the encryptions that we have studied, it is symmetric key encryption or secret key encryption. So, why it is called as symmetric key encryption? Anybody? Why it is called as symmetric key encryption? Yes, anybody? Why it is called as symmetric key encryption? What is the symmetry here? Yes, Prarthana Nayak, she said, what is that? Prarthana? Something, okay,
So
let
the
me just,
key on receiver side and the sender side will be
good,
same.
good, good. Okay, yes. So that means, so the encryption key and decryption
Excuse
key,
me,
so
sir.
they are one and the
Hello.
same. Okay. So encryption key
Hello.
and decryption key, they are one and the same. The key with which the sender encrypts, using the same key, the receiver decrypts it. Using the same key, the receiver decrypts it. Okay. Now, one disadvantage of this symmetric key encryption is now because sender and receiver they need to have the same key. Okay. Now, who has to generate this key and how this key has to be shared? Yes or no? Suppose if I am the sender and you are the receiver, okay. So if I encrypt it, so you should be able to decrypt it. But myself and yourself, we should have the same key. So who has the responsibility of generation of this key and how that key, suppose I generate the key. So how do I exchange it with you? How do I share it with you? Okay, because so if I share it in the plain language, so then that key may get exposed. Is it not? Are you getting my point? So that is the problem with symmetric key encryption. Okay, because if A and B, if they are using symmetric key encryption, so A and B should share a common key. But how that key has to be generated and how that key is shared among A and B. So that is the problem. Now you must be knowing, see the bank, okay, suppose you open an account in a bank. So then that PIN number, so how do you get it? Whether you get the PIN number through any email or SMS. Suppose you open an account in the bank, okay, you get a debit card, okay. So, but that PIN number, how it is shared with you? Yes, can you tell me? You have opened the bank account, yes or no? Okay, so you have debit card. So how that PIN number is shared with you? Just tell me fast. It is physically delivered to you, no? Either you go to the bank and collect the cover containing the PIN number, or it is physically by post you get it. Okay. So that because so nowhere that key is sent through the mail or through SMS. Please remember that. Okay. So that's how the physical delivery of the key is very much needed. Okay. So that is the problem with respect to symmetric key encryption. So to overcome that, this public key encryption is used. Okay. So I will start this RSA later because let me just tell you about the importance of public key encryption. Right. So what actually is public key encryption is, suppose A and B. Okay. These are the communicating parties. Okay. So every communicating party will be having two keys. Will be having two keys. One is public key, another one is private key. Suppose A you say, so A will be having its public key and its private key. Okay, so B will be having its public key and its private key. Okay, and these public keys are made known to everybody, just as your email IDs. Okay, so because anybody who is communicating with you, he should be knowing your email ID. So that's how anybody who is exchanging message with you, they should be knowing your public key. Okay, public key should be made known to others. Are you getting it? suppose if A wants to communicate with B, okay, so what A will do? A will encrypt the message using B's public key. Are you getting my point? Because B's public key is known to A. Similarly, A's public key is known to B. Okay. So whenever A wants to send a message to B in a secured manner, okay, what A will do? A will encrypt the plain text using B's public key. B's public key. Okay. So that's how ciphertext is generated. Okay. Encryption of plain text using the public key of B. Okay, so that's how ciphertext is generated. So that ciphertext, it comes to the receiver B. You know how B decrypts it? B now applies his private key. Okay, so the whatever the ciphertext that is received, so decrypts it. B decrypts it using his private key. His private key. Okay. So once he applies, decrypts it using private key, so then he will be able to generate the plain text. He will be able to generate the plain text. Okay. So now what if you compare it with symmetric key encryption? See now here encryption key and decryption key, are they not different? So with what key the plain text is encrypted? Plain text is encrypted using the public key of the receiver, whereas it is decrypted using the private key of the receiver. So since encryption key and decryption key are different, okay, so this public key encryption is also called as asymmetric key encryption. Is it clear? Because the encryption key is different, decryption key is different. Okay, so that is why it is called as asymmetric key encryption. Is that clear? Yes, is it clear? Yes or no? Are you getting my point? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is it clear? Whatever I said, why it is called as asymmetric key encryption? Because encryption key is different and decryption key is different. Okay, so now the thing is, so how this, because as I said, every A and B, if they are communicating, so A should have his private key, A should have his public key. So who will generate this public key and private key? Who will generate this public key and private key? So there are some standard key generation so process, okay, or you can say there is a key distribution center. We call it as KDC, okay, key distribution center, right? So that is having the responsibility of generation of keys. That is having the responsibility of generation of keys. Okay, so the process of generation of public key and private key. So that's what we are going to study in case of RSA. So anybody knows the full form of RSA? Anybody knows what is RSA algorithm? R, what is
Shall I,
R?
sir?
What is R? What is S? What is A?
Hello?
Yes, tell me.
Yes, sir. It stands for the Raivast Shamir Adlaman.
Good, 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 good. So these are the three scientists who are involved in developing this, right? RSA, Rivest, Shamir, and Edelman. Okay, so these are the people who are involved in developing this RSA. Okay, so this RSA, what happens is actually, so this RSA has been broken several times. Okay, RSA has been broken because every time they organize some competition, so they give a challenge to everybody and they ask you to break it. Okay, so this RSA has been broken several times. So whenever RSA is broken, again its key size is doubled. Okay, so suppose 64-bit input key. So it's whenever it is broken, so its key size is made to 128-bit. Again they give a challenge to break it. So if it is broken, then again they enhance the key size maybe to 256-bit. Okay, so that's how the key size is always increased to make it more secure. Okay, so the security of RSA lies in its key size, lies in its key size. Okay, so in case of RSA, there is a particular key generation process. Once the keys are generated, so keys means what? Two keys. One is private key and corresponding public key. Okay, there exists a relation between private key and public key. Okay, so that key generation and the encryption process using RSA, decryption process using RSA. So these things we will study. Okay, so tomorrow, whether you have any class? Yes, tomorrow, anytime you have the class, please make it fast because the session is getting closed. Ankit, are you there? Hello?
Sir, it is at 11 o'clock, sir.
Class is at 11 o'clock
Yes, sir.
tomorrow. So tomorrow I will take. Okay, tomorrow I will take at 11 o'clock. I think I will be able to finish this RSA. Okay, okay. So yes, okay. So I am closing the session now. Right? Thank you.